Okay, thanks, Phil, for jumping on today. Really appreciate you taking the time. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, always good to see you.
Yeah. So, as I said to you before this call, Phil, the last time I did one of these testimonials, it lasted about 45 minutes. So I won't keep you on this time. I'll ask less questions. But I just wanted to get a bit of an experience of what you went through the last year or so that we've been working together now. So what was your biggest challenge when you sought out a coach and started working with me?
So I think my biggest challenge when I started working with you was I probably didn't know where to start. So I'd kind of spoken to a few people beforehand, and mutual friend, sports psychologist Katie, kind of recommended you, put us in touch. And I remember having a conversation with her, and her comment was like, "You know all the stuff you need to know to do this." And I was like, I absolutely agree, but I've not done it, so I don't. And for me, it was that real big piece of knowing what I wanted. Like, I had a real clear objective, but then working with you was very much about working from that end goal and stripping it back to a point where, what does that look like in the next 10 minutes or the next couple of hours or the next day or week or whatever it was. So making those first steps so manageable that it allowed me to build momentum. Like, we've talked about momentum loads. That's a really big thing for me. Like, adding energy to the wave is the big analogy I've obviously spoken about loads. And then being consistent and just finding a way with loads of ups and downs. It's not been that classic like linear success line of how to navigate that, to just learn to be more and more consistent as I've gone through, and the changes that I've had have been like genuinely life-changing. And it's when I talk to people about you and the impact, they're like, "Oh, he's done that for you," and I'm like, no, because no one else can do anything for you, but you've facilitated that in a way that's made it so much easier for me to do myself. And that's where I'm just like really grateful for the awesome support.
Yeah, no, that's and as you said though, Phil, you're the man that's taking the action in this. So it's all with you. So like you talked about, the big achievements that have been life changing for you. So what are those achievements, would you say?
So I guess I came into this having struggled with a really bad back injury for like two and a bit years. That just meant I couldn't move without being in pain. I'd put on a load of weights, and just all the negative things that kind of come with that like moving hurt. So I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to spend time with people. And then the negative behaviors around eating and everything else that kind of just gets sucked in along with that. So the change has been ultimately like finding ways to manage what I eat, so eat more healthily, better consistency in the food that I consume, breaking bad habits. I always think back to little things like I always pay at the pump at the garage now. Like, I remember that one, and we were just like, oh yeah, well, why don't I just not go into a garage, because then I can't buy snacks or whatever. Being able I mean, obviously the back operation made a huge difference in being able to move without pain, but then actually getting back into doing my rehab consistently at home, which I never enjoyed doing, getting into the gym again, swimming, walking, just moving and actually being able to like enjoy my life again, which has resulted in the last probably couple of months of a 4-week trip to Bali and a week in Spain and trips to Scotland, walking, all that sort of stuff. So to go from not wanting to do anything because it hurt to like planning, next year's trip already, to be able to go, how can I make the most of this, has been like absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me the trip to Bali was at the start when we worked together, I don't know whether I would have signed up. Now I've had to see all those photos.
Sorry, my bad.
But you're totally right. And like seeing, some of the photos you've shared with me as well over the last, few weeks, seeing you in the exact same place 1 year ago to now. We've been working for that year and I didn't even recognize you.
Yeah, it's nuts. So I think it's like 6.2 stone or 39.5 kilos. And I've got another 2.5 weeks to go. So like, it will hit probably 40 kilos within that space of time. And without like, and I think this is credit to the conversations we've had and the support you've given and the advice and everything else that goes along with it, that it's never felt too hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be easy, and I've never been in anyone else's position, so I can't judge that. But I often look at some people that do like crash diets, all that type of stuff, and I'm like, they just look hungry and they look miserable. And I think we've done this in a way that's like, I've just enjoyed getting my life back. It's never been tons and tons of sacrifice that I wasn't willing to make. And it's, yeah, I think that's been probably one of the biggest factors of enabling it to be consistent, is the level of engagement, the level of support, the level of accountability for sure, but also just finding ways that it was about, how does this look for the next 10 years, not how do we like, or how do I not eat for the next week just to make sure I'd like hit the number on the scale that I want, or something stupid like that. Like, there's never been any kind of extreme element to it. It's just, yeah, that long-term picture.
Yeah. And the conversation we had, you know, the last time we spoke as well, is that trust in yourself now as well, right? Like, you've been able to go from not trusting yourself to even cook one thing or do your rehab at home to actually, you know, I'm all right, we're playing with this, I'll eat this food, I'll do this. So yeah, no, it's been great to see that progression. And like, we obviously, I think a lot of the time with coaching, talk about like the tangible things, right? Oh, I've lost 6 stone, I got to go to Bali. But it's almost like the intangible things almost as well are the equally as important, or if not more important. So like, how do you feel now in comparison to a year ago?
Oh, I mean, yeah, in terms of how I feel, I would say there's just a huge change in positive thinking. Conversation we just had around, at the time, was my brain was always searching for negative feedback from my body. Like, are you in pain? How do I stop this pain? How do I manage this? And that conversation just doesn't happen anymore. So there's been a huge psychological change as well as the physical stuff. And then just being able to be, yeah, like I'd say, be normal again, just have a normal life, like not have to plan, oh, if I do this today, am I going to then hurt for a couple of days afterwards? So I've got to have a trade-off of what I can and can't do. Like being able to go to Spain on my mate's wedding, and you know, we were just out swimming and walking and doing all these things, and at no stage am I having to think, oh, okay, if I do this, will I be able to do that or not do that, or like, will I be able to sit down in the service because I can't stand up for long, or any of that negative stuff. It just gives you that freedom to be me again. And I've received a phenomenal message from one of my really, really close friends, just saying how much they saw that the change of me now to what it would have been over the last few years. And it's quite a nice feeling because yeah, like internally I feel that, but also to know that you're projecting that outwards is like just a double bonus, really, that people can see you being back to normal. It's like, I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's not just in my head. So yeah, it's been powerful.
Yeah, no, amazing. I mean, that message nearly made me cry, to be fair.
Definitely made me cry.
Yeah, no, it is amazing. And I suppose like one of the things that I was thinking about as well, if someone was in your position like a year ago, or thinking about investing in coaching or hiring a coach, like what advice would you give them?
I'd say absolutely do it. Give it a go. I think that was one of the biggest things for you, that like free session at the start. I do think for a lot of people it's a big commitment, and understanding and getting a feel for the person you're going to work with is huge, and the fact you're willing to give up that time initially for like no charge. Had you turned around and said, oh, the first session's 50 quid, I probably wouldn't have done it. I think the fact that we had an hour and a half of just back and forth, getting to know you, a bit about your journey, like why you love doing this, and also then your process for supporting people or me, just put me in a position where I was like, yeah, I can definitely connect with you, I can trust you. And it really kind of excited me as to what the potential was to then tap into all of your knowledge and experience and ideas and everything else. And I've loved that there's been that kind of two-way part of it. Like I've absolutely loved the conversations we've had about the business and the coaching you do, and you know, because I guess part of that is the world I live in as well. So it's just lots to talk about coaching, which is phenomenal. So yeah, I definitely think that would be the number one bit of advice. I think the second one is, if you've got to a stage where you're looking for a coach, you probably know what your goal is. You might not have it like really formalized or crystal clear, but I would really spend some time honing in on what you want to get out of it, without going into the whole, process of goals are better than outcome goals and all that type of stuff. Like you'll do that work with people, but I think knowing what you're coming for is really important, and then just being really open about trying stuff. If you come in with, oh, this doesn't work for me, or I've tried this before, or whatever, like I could have found a lot of excuses. I could have been, probably dishonest with myself about the level of success or what I was willing to put into stuff, but actually just being open, being trusting, being willing to hear things that you wouldn't necessarily say to yourself, I think is a really good place to be. And I think you learn to do that as the relationship develops. Is definitely part of that accountability piece of, like, I'm not overly happy with the choices I've made here, and hearing that fed back to you is like, oh yeah, okay, no, like it's just holding up the mirror, and no one, I think, initially really likes that, but you get to a point where that's like a huge part of the process and a real key part. So I guess those would probably be the top 3 bits of advice, but like absolutely do it. There's, if you're thinking about it, there's a reason why. And just for me, delve into that and pursue it, because good things will happen.
Amazing. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Phil?
Oh, just a thank you. Like I know it's a it's a paid relationship, but I feel like we got way beyond that really quickly. And I think the value, like, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I would have definitely paid you more. So but for the impact it's had, I can't put a number on. I remember when I looked up to get the backup, and it was like, I don't know, $6,000 or something. I was like, that's a ton of money. Would I have paid 10 times that to get the freedom and my life back now? Absolutely. Same kind of thing when it comes to you. Like the impact it's had, I can't put a number on what that feeling feels like to be normal, to be doing all the stuff I used to love doing and more. And that's only after 12 months. So I look at that and I go, okay, well, what does the next 12 months look like, or the next 10 years? And that really excites me, because there's just so much potential. And whatever that is, it wouldn't, at some point it's not going to be about rehab and weight loss and that sort of stuff. There'll be a ton of other stuff that I'll have as goals and I'll work with you on, and everything that goes with that. So just incredibly thankful for, I guess, firstly to Katie for the really good recommendation, but also to you for the outstanding work you've done. Because I've had to do it, but we've definitely done it together.
Yeah, no, thank you, Phil. I appreciate that. And I echo the same sentiments. It's always the best people to work with is when you've got such a good relationship, which we have, right? We're definitely, as you said, it's a paid relationship, but we're definitely friends now, right? Like that, without a shadow of a doubt. And you're a person that has inspired me throughout your whole journey as well. You're a person that actually takes action, right? Like bounces with the feedback, takes everything on board, is really open to trying new things. And the sort of point that you said at the start about paying 10 times the amount for how you feel now, I think that's a big barrier for people to get over. All they see is the number in the first place, but what you have done is trusted yourself that you would do the work, and you have done, and you've got the value and you've got the results. And as you said, this is only 12 months, so the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years is going to be amazing for you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. No, thanks, Phil. I appreciate it.